Sometimes as a YouTuber, you just don't feel like pressing that record button. You just want to get into whatever project you got going on and just get it done, right? So that's what I was going to do today. I was working on the trailer brakes for the camper because I was having an issue. I'll tell you about that in a moment. So I just figured, well, I'll come out here, see if I can figure it out and get it done. But what I found was something I figured, well, I better go ahead and press record and show this to everybody just in case somebody out there has the same problem. It's something to look for. Let's get into it. Ever since we got this camper, about 7 months ago or so, I had a sneaking suspicion that the brakes were not working properly on it. And when I had my dually truck pulling it, I didn't really notice it so much, but when I got the single rear wheel truck, it was more noticeable. They really kind of stood out. And so basically what's been happening was when I hit the brakes, my truck would kind of lunge to the right. So I felt like maybe one side of the brakes was not working. And so I've checked a bunch of things, been looking for a grounding issue. I didn't know if it was an adjustment issue. I adjusted the brakes and all that just to make sure one was a little bit loose, but went ahead and tightened it up, and that wasn't the problem. So, but I did find out what the problem is, and so hopefully it's gonna fix it. At least I found the problem on the front right axle. So we're gonna take the rear drum off in the back to see if maybe it has the same problem. Looks like it was probably a factory problem. So let's go ahead and check it out. Just for a little demonstration to show you what was going on was as I was driving, I believe that the left side brake was working and the right side was not. So what was happening was when it would brake, the camper this one would catch, so it'd turn, the tongue of the trailer goes to the left, but that forces the truck, the back end, to go left, which makes, so it makes the truck want to go right. So, because the wheels are going straight, and then all of a sudden it would jerk when it would brake, and then the truck would kind of want to go into the next lane. So I'd have to really kind of be aware that it was going to do that as I was driving. Well, let me show you what I found. I'll go ahead and take this drum off here in just a moment, but maybe you'll even notice it before I point it out. Do you see anything wrong with this scenario? I noticed it as soon as I took the cover off. This wire right here is worn right through. You see that? There's two ends. It's just been cut right in half. And so I'm gonna have to fix that. So obviously it was not getting power going all the way through to operate this magnet down here. So this is what operates your electric brakes here. And so since the power was cut to it, it wasn't working. I don't know about the back one. So I went over and looked at the back of this drum, and I started wiping on the back of it. And I don't know if you can really see in my finger. I need to clean this out real good. But there was some wire fragments from this wire where it's just frayed. See if you can see that there. It's just kind of like, just wore right through it. So I believe what happened was that the wire got pinched. When this drum got put on, it got pinched right there and it just wore right through that wire. So I'm gonna have to fix that wire and hopefully tuck it out of the way. So that's what's going on. That's why that brake's not working, that's for sure. And these brakes are basically brand new. This camper has hardly even been used that much. I mean, it's been used by us more than the people we bought it from. They only used it twice before we bought it. So, and it's been like this since we bought it. So I kind of feel like, can't prove it, but I would be willing to bet that it was just came out of the manufacturer this way and just happened to be a mistake and it got pinched up, and that's what happened. So the brakes are still in great shape, plenty of pad on it, and it doesn't look like it's hardly been used. So let's go ahead and take this drum off and see if there's an issue. All right, I did go ahead and I already took off the cap that locks this nut on there, that Castle lock, basically, what you call it. I don't know what you call it. So, and you know, these are fairly loose. They don't need to be super tight. So you can hear it's got a decent amount of friction on there now. Not too much, not too little. So go ahead and take this nut off of here. And there'll be a washer, and then pull the bearings out. I'll go ahead and repack the bearings while I got them all out. So after I get done with this side, I'll probably have to pull the other side out and repack the bearings on that side, just so I can make note of them all being done at the same time. There we go. Here's the bearings. Bearings are in great shape. Like I said, I will go ahead and repack these while I'm at it. Oh, look at that. That one's cut too. Dang. Both of them cut completely in half. Look at that. That one right there is frayed. It's been rubbing. I don't even know where the other end of it is. I'm gonna have to dig it out, find it. Oops, sorry for the camera jiggle. Here it is, right there. So that's my problem. The whole right side brakes, front and back, neither one of them are working because of that. How about that? So this does make me wonder if the other side brakes, they do seem to be working. However, so they're not obviously not cut, but I wonder if they're on their way. I mean, if it's this way on this side, you know, I wonder if the other ones are starting to wear through. So I'm definitely gonna have to take those off and check them out and repack those bearings. Well, I'm not an electrician or a brake expert, but let me show you what I'm doing. I think it should work. What I'm going to do, these wires aren't quite long enough to tie together, so I'm going to put a little short wire in there. I went ahead and just soldered it together there on the end, and then I'll do the same on the other side. And then what I am going to also add are these little wire connectors with solder in the middle of them. I just wanted more solder than what these actually hold, but these things are pretty cool. I've used them on a bunch of little projects, and I put wires together and you heat them up with a heat gun, and it melts that solder in the middle and ties the two wires together. So I'm gonna kind of double it up, put that over the top of that just to make sure it's good and solid, and then I'll do another one on the other end. Okay, I got them both done. Had to end up putting two splices in that one and one over there on the front one. So now I just gotta secure the wires. I'm gonna wrap some electrical tape so tie them together and tuck them up out of the way, and then clean them off, repack the bearings, put them back together. I don't have a bearing packer, so I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Blob of grease in your palm of your hand. Just keep tapping it like that until it starts to come out through the rollers and up through the top. So I'm about to put everything back together. I did clean out the front here of the race. Everything is in good shape on the race on the front. And then the bearing here in the back, can't really repack that by hand unless I pull the seal out, which I'm not gonna pull the seal out because it's still in good shape. And I don't have another seal to replace it with. So I'm just gonna repack the front bearing, the outside bearing, leave the inside bearing the way it is. Maybe try to pull some grease into it like that and put everything back together. All right, I'm gonna put it back together. I got the wires taped up out of the way. Everything moves just fine. The wires are good. Go forward and reverse. All the shoes are good, everything's clean. Gonna put it back together here. I'm going to put some more grease in here where the outside bearings go, just because I probably over grease everything, but just the way it is. Rather have too much than not enough, usually is the case. Don't want to blow out the rear bearings, but I don't think that's going to happen in this particular case. There we go. That's good. Got it seated in there. You know me, just because it's a little bit extra here. I don't need a whole lot more. Hear that? A little bit. You want a little bit of scraping like that on the brakes. So that's where I've adjusted it to. If I adjust it any more, it gets too tight. So it's pretty much in the best spot for it. Then you line up that flat spot with the flat spot on the spindle. And don't tighten this up too much. Just it's almost hand tight. Just a touch more. I'm gonna have to roll it back just a little bit. There it is. Put the cap back on, and the front one's done. Go ahead and get to the back one, finish that up, check the other side. All right, well this side's done. All I got left to do is put the little dust covers on the caps, and put everything back together, and get to the other side. One thing I wanted to point out real quick on these Bigfoot campers that's real nice is they have grease fittings all the way around the suspension. Over there and over there on that end. I did some of the outside ones and I just did the bottom ones just a little bit ago. So everything's good to go there. So that's kind of nice just to have those grease fittings because a lot of campers do not have those. And then the Bigfoots also have shocks, which help the camper ride really nice. I think I might adjust this front one just a little bit more. You can on this rear one. That one's pretty good. You can hear a little bit of rub, and you can hear some on this one, but not quite as much. It's probably okay, but I'm gonna try to match it up. I'm gonna try to get it one more click and see if I can get it to match up. I'm over here on the driver's side. It's really tight over here, so I just wanted to show you this is what it should look like. Look at those wires, they're nice and tucked up in there. So that's how it should look. That's how all the ones I've seen on the internet look. Those are the same way, so they're nice and up and out of the way. So no problem on the driver's side. Just gonna clean these up, put some brake clean on them, clean them up, repack the bearings, and put them back together. And they'll be good to go. The brakes are fixed. I'm excited to have them fixed because it just was not fun braking when I had to like hit the pedal a little bit harder than usual. And on a gentle slow down, it wasn't real noticeable, but if I had to kind of get on the brakes a little bit, or on the highway, if I had to, hit the brakes, you could definitely feel the truck would want to lunge to the right. So I'm really glad to have the camper brakes fixed. I did check it last night. I hooked the truck up to the camper and used the brake controller, checked it, and the brakes locked right up. I also did that before I fixed them, and I could just free spin the brake drum. So the hub there, I can just free spin it. So now that it's working, checked it last night, it's good. They lock right up. So I'm very excited to actually have working brakes again when we get out and go camping, which will be here real soon. Why? Because we like winter camping and we're looking forward to it. So I just thought that this issue, once I found what the problem was, I just definitely felt I needed to share it in case somebody else may have the same issue. Go ahead and take your drums off, pull your hub off, and check it out and check the wires out underneath, because on the driver's side they were good, but on the passenger side they were not. So I really feel like it was a manufacturer error problem when they put it together. Just too much wire hanging down on this side. So hopefully I got it fixed and it'll stay that way for a long time. Appreciate you hanging around watching, and please like, subscribe, share if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time on Runaway Roses. Bye bye.